You want to get unlimited AI for free. Maybe you've heard of vibe coding and you want to get started but don't know how. Then this video is for you. We will be using Docker, Visual Studio Code, and OpenCode. Everything used in this video is absolutely free. I will step you through setting up your computer to run things in a more secure way. This method works as of July 2026. So let's get started. Open your browser and go to docker.com. We're going to download and install the product called Docker Desktop. Docker is currently free for individual use. It sets up a sandbox environment in what they call a container. This way, AI won't be able to access anything outside of this environment unless you allow it to. Now, navigate to code.visualstudio.com. Pick the install based on your operating system. Here we're going to install an integrated development environment, or IDE, called Visual Studio Code, or also known as VSCode. Feel free to use a different one if you have something else that you prefer. Now that you've downloaded and installed both of those, let's go ahead and open up VSCode. If it is your first time opening it, you'll have to go through some customization windows. Now we're going to install what's called extensions in Visual Studio Code. It's accessible on the left-hand menu. The icon looks like 4 squares. So click on that, do a search for an extension called DevContainers by Microsoft. Make sure you install the correct one. Once the extension is installed, we're going to create a sample project. Just click on the Open Folder button near the top left. So for this example, I'm just going to create a new folder called Test Project, and we're going to have VS Code open that folder. Next, what we're going to do is get the containers set up for this project. And to do that, you would just open up the command palette, either use Command-Shift-P, or you can go to the menu item, View Command Palette. And then we're going to select this command called DevContainer, add DevContainer configuration files. There will be some configurations that you will need to go through. For this example, pick Add Configuration to Workspace. Next, we're going to be asked what kind of development environment we want to have installed. For now, we're going to just pick Python. So just type in Python here. Now it's going to ask you for the Python version. I'm just going to stick with the default. For the rest of these options, I'm just going to pick the defaults but not selecting anything and just hitting OK. You can always add in items later. Now you'll notice that there's a new file called devcontainer.json. What this contains is configuration information for the environment so that if you wanted to have it automatically pre-install or pre-configure anything for your environment, you can define those adjustments in that file. For this video, we'll just leave it alone. Now open the command palette again, type devcontainers, reopen in container. Now what this will do is start up Docker in the background. If Docker is running for the first time, you're going to see a few setup windows that you'll have to go through. Click Accept and keep the default selections and just click Finish. You'll see a screen here that says, Welcome to Docker. You can skip this whole part by clicking Skip at the top. We don't need to do anything with Docker right now, so we can just minimize it and go back to VS Code. You can see that VS Code is doing something in the background. If you want to see some of the details, there will be a pop-up on the bottom right, and if you click on the line to see the logs, it'll open up a terminal window and you'll see what it's doing. In this case, it's downloading the environment from the Docker servers to your local machine. This may take a few minutes. Let's take a look at what Docker is doing. If you open up Docker and look at the main dashboard, you will now see a running container. If you go to VS Code and look at the bottom left, you'll see the status showing that it is opening up the container. Once that status changes, then you know that it's done. Now, go back to your browser and open up the site opencode.ai. What we're going to do here is copy the command needed to install OpenCode. In this video, we're going to use curl. So I'm just going to click the shortcut here to copy the command. Now let's go back to VS Code. We're going to open up a terminal by going to the top menu, Terminal, New Terminal. And you'll see it opened up which is usually in the bottom middle. We're going to paste in the command that we copied from the website and kick off the installation. Now this may take a minute, so while it's doing this, I'm going to describe what we're actually doing here. What we are doing here is installing an agent coding harness called OpenCode. Then we're going to use an AI model with that harness called BigPickle. This model gives you a very generous 200,000 token context. It runs in the cloud and is free to use. At least it is for now. OpenCode also provides other free to use models that you can try out. Alright, now it's finished installing. You can see the OpenCode's logo. I'm going to open up a new terminal so that it knows the updated environment variables. Just type OpenCode on the command line, and then you'll see OpenCode has started. You can check the list of models that is available in OpenCode by typing /models. A list will pop up showing all the models available with the free models at the top and the default selection being BigPickle. The rest of the models are listed below. Alright, let's close that. I'm going to have OpenCode create a new project so we can try it out. I'm going to ask it to create a simple Python project in this folder that will print hello world. Then I'll hit enter. Now you can see it's building. And on the right side, you can see some stats like the context being used. In this case, about 4%. And the important thing is the dollar amount being spent, which is right underneath there. Here you can see $0 being spent. Now it's finished. You can see that there's now a hello.py file in the project. Now let's test out the container to see if OpenCode can actually access any of your other files that's not in this project. So let's try this out. Here we're going to ask OpenCode to grab the first file from the My Movies folder and copy it. You hit enter. And you'll see it trying. Alright, you can see it tried different ways to get it, but it can't find it, which is great. That means that the container is working. Next, I'm going to close VSCode and reopen it to show you how to get things running if everything has been closed. In VSCode, when you open it up, you'll see a pop-up on the bottom right. You can pick to reopen the container there, or you can open it up using Command Palette again by going to View, Command Palette, and type in DevContainer, Reopen in Container. If you select that, it will start the container and reload your project in that container. And that's it. So this is one way you can use unlimited AI for free and securely. You essentially set up a standalone area using Docker to run OpenCode and use their free cloud models like BigPickle, which gives you a large context that you can use for decent sized projects. So if you have limited hardware and don't want to spend any money, then try this approach. Now there's something to keep in mind. Anything you send to their AI will be used to train it, so never send anything you want to keep private. If you guys have any questions, drop a comment down below. See you next time.